Hi dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Inside Egypt, during which we're going to bring you the latest political, economic and also social events that are taking place in Egypt. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Egyptian investigators said the cockpit voice recorder CVR of the crashed Airbus flight MS 804 is in a condition to extract recordings. The voice recording is being repaired at the French Accident Investigation Agency. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Hala El-Hamalawi.
Egyptian investigators said on Saturday that the cockpit voice recorder CVR of crashed Egypt Air flight MS 804 was now in a condition to extract recordings. The investigative committee said in a statement that, after repairs, the CVR was in a condition to retrieve information that could help explain why the Airbus A320 jet plunged into the sea on May the 19th, killing all 66 people on board. The committee said its members were planning to return to Cairo to continue the readings and analyzing the flight data recorder and CVR at the Central Department for Aircraft Accidents at Egypt's Ministry of Civil Aviation. Egypt's investigation committee said on Wednesday that investigators have already downloaded data from one of the black box flight recorders on Egypt Air flight and are preparing to analyze it. The Airbus A320 plunged into the eastern Mediterranean Sea en route from Paris to Cairo on May the 19th. Egypt's Aircraft Accident Investigation Committee said in a statement earlier this week that preliminary information shows that the entire flight is recorded on the FDR since its takeoff from Charles de Gaulle Airport until the recording stopped at an altitude of 37,000 feet where the accident occurred. Search teams have salvaged both the so-called black box flight recorders. Investigators are now preparing to analyze data from the flight data recorder. The plane had sent a series of warnings indicating that smoke had been detected on board through ACARS.
While Egypt has repaid $1 billion to Qatar, the last batch in a $3 billion debt owned by the Gulf country, Egypt's central bank governor Tariq Amir announced on Friday that the central bank repaid the entire amount borrowed by Cairo from Doha at an interest rate of 3 to 4% against treasury bonds. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Hala El-Hamalawi.
The central bank governor said on Friday that Egypt has returned to Qatar $1 billion deposited by the Gulf state to help prop up the Egyptian central bank's hard currency reserves after the 2011 uprising. MENA news agency reported that $1 Qatar received is the last of Egypt's debts to the wealthy Gulf Arab country. Meanwhile, the CBE governor Tariq Amir has denied on Friday reports that it banned Egyptians from using their Egyptian account debit cards abroad. Amir said that the central bank merely ordered measures to control and regulate the use of debit cards in order to stop their use for illegal currency trading purposes. Amir's statements come 2 days after a central bank official reportedly said that the banks were ordered to stop clients from using their Egyptian account debit cards abroad in order to fight a foreign currency shortage. Banks have the right to impose limits on using Egyptian account debit cards abroad, according to Amir. Amir added that some clients use their debit cards to withdraw large amounts of dollars to exchange on the black market rather than to use them for tourism, travel, or shopping purposes. Banks in Egypt have set a daily limit for dollar cash withdrawal using cards to around 1,000 Egyptian pounds per day. The official exchange rate for the dollar has hovered around 8.8 Egyptian pounds for 3 months, but the greenback sells at up to 11 Egyptian pounds on the black market.
Arab information ministers adopted Al-Quds, Jerusalem, as the media capital for the year 2016. This came in their 47th ministerial session that was held recently at the premises of the Arab League in Cairo. Al-Quds, one of the most sacred cities for the Arabs and Muslims all over the world, and is at the heart of every Arab citizen. During this session, the ministers of information also adopted other resolutions of strategies by the Arab media to confront the phenomenon of terrorism and radicalism, while at the same portray the real image of Islam and Arabs. Mona Musalhi has more in the following interview.
Ministers at the 47th session adopted Al-Quds as the capital of media, the Arab media. They stressed that Al-Quds is at the heart of Muslims and Arabs all over the world. And this is why they have chosen Al-Quds as the capital of the Arab media and put a strategy in order to propagate the cultural heritage or the Arab and Muslim cultural heritage there. Another resolution that was adopted also during this session was a strategy to combat terrorism. A third one was to portray the real image of Arab and Islam in face of hostile campaigns that are raised against the Arabs and the Muslims all over the world. This is what we are going to speak about, and we have the pleasure and the honor to have with us the Assistant Secretary General of the Arab League, Ambassador Haifa Abu Ghazala. Ambassador Haifa Abu Ghazala, we thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, and Ramadan Kareem.
Ambassador Abu Ghazala, the choice of the Arab Information Minister of Al-Quds to be the Arab capital or the Arab media capital, the significance of this?
It was the first time that the League for Arab States suggested to have a capital every year for one of the cities in the Arab world. Because you know, the cities in the Arab world, we have in heritage and cultural history. And of course, the first suggestion was Jerusalem. Jerusalem because Jerusalem in the history of and in the mind of all the Muslim and Arab, it's the city of the world. So all the member of the Ministerial Council, they welcome the suggestion, and they announced it for 2016 as the capital for media and communication. And now we are in the process of working on what kind of activities we want to deliver during this year. And now we ask the Palestinian Authority and the Ministry of Information, Media and Information in Palestine for a meeting. We will have a committee from the League for Arab States and the Palestinian Ministry of Information, Media and Information, 12th of July, to start working on the agenda of the celebration of this important event, because we believe that there will be a lot of activities. I hope in Jerusalem, but I don't think in Jerusalem we will have it in Ramallah most of the time.
Well, Russia's ambassador to Egypt said that Russian tourism may return to Egypt in the foreseeable future. He said that work on the resumption of Russian tourism to Egypt is still underway. Details in the following report by Nile TV's Hala Al-Hamalawi.
Russian tourists will be able to travel to Egypt in the foreseeable future, as resumption of tourist flow to Egypt is a priority for both countries. Russian state-affiliated Sputnik news agency reported, citing the Russian ambassador to Egypt, Sergei Kirpichenko. Kirpichenko said that work on the resumption of Russian tourism to Egypt is still underway. Moscow has suspended flights to Egypt after the crash of a Russian airliner in the Sinai Peninsula in October 2015, killing all 224 people on board. The plane was heading from the Egyptian resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh to St. Petersburg in Russia. Russia maintains that the crash was due to a terrorist attack, while Egypt says that the evidence is still lacking as the cause of the crash. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi acknowledged for the first time in February in a speech that the plane was downed by terrorists seeking to damage its tourism industry and ties with Moscow. The Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics, CAPMAS, said that the number of tourists visiting Egypt fell by 47.2% in March compared to the same month last year. The agency attributed its findings to the decline in the number of Russian tourists by 99.2%.
A workshop of the Chinese digital publishing was held at the 47th round of the Cairo International Book Fair to lecture its benefits, which includes publishing challenges that Egypt faces, internet technology development in the society, in addition to consumption habit in the internet and mobile internet. In China, according to its statistics, in 2014, digital publishing industry revenue reached around 34% more than that of the year 2013. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Dina Huwaidaq.
China represents one of the world's most dynamic sectors, and any innovation produced within the segment of Chinese industry is likely to have a global impact. The Chinese publishing industry has continued to grow. In 2004, China published 25.77 billion copies of national level and newspaper, 2.69 billion magazines, and 6.44 billion books.
我刚才演讲的题目是分享中国的数字出版经验，共同发展阿语数字阅读市场。
Her topic is share the Chinese reading publisher experience and development the Chinese reading development.
我想我们拥有中国的数字发展技术和中国的数字出版经验，以及我们的阿拉伯地区的合作伙伴，他们的本地化运营，相信会给阿拉伯地区的出版商和读者带来更好的数字阅读体验。
We have the Chinese good technology, and we have the local cooperation, Egyptian cooperation. We can bring some good technology to the Egyptian readers and Egyptian publishers.
Well, first, this lecture is very important because we face a lot of problems in publishing in Egypt, especially with the distribution, and converting our books to e-books or to digital books will help a lot in combating the problem of distribution. So if we manage to do this, we may save a lot of time and make a lot of money out of it as publishers. And the Chinese have a huge expertise in this, and they are coming to help, and it's gonna be different from the Western side. They have the same problems. We share a lot. They have a different system that might work better in our case. So we're really looking forward to a better publishing experience with the e-books now.
Although compared with paper books sales, e-book sales is small. It grows fast since 2012 with an average annual growth rate of 20.5%. Dina Huwaidaq, Nile TV International.
And now we'll have a look at the Tourist magazine, which brings us interesting news related to tourists and attractive destinations in Egypt with Nile TV's Abir Mitwalli.
of the Republic of Belarus to Egypt, Sergei Rakovov, said that his country resumed flights to the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt's South Sinai after a 5-month hold. Following the downing of Russian airliner in November 2015 that killed all 224 passengers, the Belarusian Foreign Ministry recommended tourists refrain from visiting Egypt. Rakshov said that his country didn't issue a travel ban to Egypt. However, tourist numbers decreased following the Russian airliner incident. Earlier, Russia imposed a ban on air travel to Egypt. This decision influenced Belarusian tourists who intended to fly to Egypt resorts out of Moscow. Belarusians rank second in number of nationals who visit Egypt annually as tourists. Last month, Egypt hired a British security firm to re-evaluate security measures in place at its airports. At the time of the airliner crash, it was believed that 80,000 Russian citizens stayed in Hurghada alone. In a gala ceremony held at Sharqa Heritage Institute, the ruler of Sharqa, Sheikh Sultan bin Mohammed Al-Qasimi, honored the historic Cairo rehabilitation project with the award for the best practices for conservation of cultural heritage in the Arab world, alongside 9 other winners. Mohammed Abdelaziz, Egypt's Assistant Antiquities Minister for Islamic and Coptic Antiquities, said that Egypt was one of 40 participants at the exhibition this year. Egypt, represented by the historical Cairo project along with the UAE, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco, Palestine, Syria, Sudan and Tunisia, won the award for the best practices for conservation and cultural heritage in the Arab world. He added that the event was part of activities of Sharqa-based ICCROM Arthur Archaeological Tangible Heritage in the Arab region, a regional conservation center founded by the International Center for the Study of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Property of the Government of Sharqa in the UAE in 2012.